You're listening to Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoy on the market. First Light, the best hunting gear on the planet. Go farther, stay longer. And Ducklander Calls, tradition, education, and quality, built to hunt.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Union 0430 podcast. This is episode 221. I had to double check my notes. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, you don't need to blink because it's true. He's here. It's taken us a while to get him on, but we've got him on. Not due to him not wanting to come on. It's just the way things have worked out for the last little bit. So we do have the voice of the Union on with us tonight, Captain Jeff Coats from Pitboss Waterfowl. I am looking forward to chatting with you, Jeff. But before we start,
it's been too long.
It has been, buddy. But before we start, thank you to Real Geese, Ducklander Calls, and First Light for being a sponsor of the show and always being in our corner. And I'm very honored to be able to say thank you to Captain Jeff Coats for being the voice of the Union for all these years. It's good to have you on. We got Craig on tonight. Philly is doing a meeting for his local Delta Waterfowl chapter. Mark is up to his knees in sawdust somewhere, I'm sure. And so you got us three hooligans on tonight. And Craig, Jeff, good to see you guys. Jeff, especially you, because it's been so long since I've seen you, buddy.
It has been a long time.
It really has, but yeah, it has. But I appreciate you being on this evening. Thank you very much. Me being on. Did I say you being on? Me being on.
It's all good.
And it's just been good and busy and good as I like to say. And just got to get a lot of shit done. So
yeah, buddy. Well, anybody and Craig, jump in, buddy. You know the routine. Jump in where you can. But anybody that's been following you lately, Jeff, and really, I don't think you and I have had longer than a 10-second conversation since duck season. I think you were into the second split of your season the last time we spoke. So it's been a while, and there's been a lot going on. But anybody that's been following your social media, you definitely haven't slowed down none.
Try not to. I got a whole bunch of shots in my lower back yesterday, so that keep me mobile and pain free. And just kind of, I don't like needles that much, and they go right into. They tell me that they go right into the discs between the vertebrae.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got shot up yesterday, and man, I woke up this morning, and I can't say it's a new back, but I definitely felt like I had a new back this morning. So it keeps me, got me through duck season. 2 duck seasons ago, it was very difficult. I got these maybe, 8 months ago or so, and it lasted me. I should have re-upped them sooner.
Yeah.
And I just procrastinated a little bit, but anyway, got that taken care of yesterday. But yeah, man, just go. And I'm trying to get a lot done with the dogs and amongst trying to make some decoys and the seasonal time flies, and the season will be here before I know it, I think.
Well, yeah, especially, just those two things that you brought up. So the amount of dog training you're doing, your dog training is happening. Are you testing already, or do you have to wait until June before testing starts?
No, right at I kind of hindsight's 2020, obviously. Yeah. But coming out of duck season, and Karen and I talked about this quite a bit. I thought maybe I'd have a little bit more of a dog retention from last year training through duck season.
Yeah,
did a lot, drills here in the yard, but actually to do marks and to get into water, didn't do any of that. But long story short, Scoter needed 2 passes to be a master hunter.
Yep.
And the 2 passes and her master hunter would have got her qualified for the Master Amateur National in Maine, June 20th.
Yeah.
But she had to be qualified by March 1st. So I think whenever the super that Sunday, we headed south, went down to Cooper Black, Sherall, South Carolina. We trained there for about a week, and we went on down to Pavo, Georgia. She was entered in a Saturday, Sunday master. Yeah. Then there was a Tuesday master, Wednesday master, and then the following weekend, she didn't get through those 2. We entered a double down in Okeechobee, Florida. So she had four tests, and hopefully would get in 2. Pass 2 of them. and she'd be a master hunter as well as qualified for the master amateur. So put all the time and effort into doing that. When we were in South Carolina, it was cold still. We really didn't get in the water much, but got her back up to speed on land, and we get down to Pago, Georgia the night before the test, and she came into heat for the first time at 24 months old.
Oh no.
We thought maybe she went like around 18 months old. We thought maybe she went like through a silent heat, but anyway, so that kind of blew that plan up for us. And instead of just traveling all the way home, because we had the camper with us. First time taking the camper along with us. And so we decided on the way back up, we just stop at Cooper Black again and spend a few more days there. So we did that. So to answer your question, long-winded, yes. She's been entered in tests.
Yeah.
And we didn't get to run any of those, but there was a double. Palmetto Retriever Club had a double master back at Cooper Black. So we went back down, entered that double, kind of figured out that at this age, it's not good to double stake her.
Okay.
Handler error on the one going into the last series. I had no handles. She saw 2 mom and pops out of the 3 series. I didn't think that she established a hunt. Anyway, watched her go for it was a land water series combo.
Okay.
Mom and pop into a little 2 pieces of water, and then a long landline was the go bird, comes back center for the middle one. She goes down for the middle bird, puts her head down, and then comes over again. They're like maybe 20 yards apart. Comes back over, picks the left bird up, go back down, and Karen said behind me, people were saying, "Hey, she switched." Anyway, I got to honor off lead, and I'm like, "Hey, we got passed." And Karen's like, "Are you sure we're not going to get kind of blindsided when we go to get the ribbon?" I said, "Nah." I said, "Nah." I didn't. I honored off lead, on and on and on. Anyway, long story short, she didn't. My fault. I should have blown the whistle, so she would have got a pass there. And the other one kind of had on the landline. The other master in the first series had a little blow up on the landline. It's very windy. Center for the lesson learned. They were about equal distance, but I watched everybody pick the left. It was a triple. Picks those up, come back. Watched everybody pick up the left landline. The wind was hard right to left, and she got in kind of behind the flyer station, and she winded the right hand blind. So lesson to myself: play the wind. I should one try to pick up the other. I didn't see anybody do that, but in her case, it would have been wise to do that. So again, maybe handler error on both of those, and then entered her in a double 2 weekends ago in Emporia, Virginia. And basically her water work, I got dropped on the water blinds on both of those. So we were entered in a double a weekend and then a Tuesday at Atlanta. We were already entered, and we pulled her out of those and just say we're just going to train, get her back on track, especially on the water. And in 2 weekends, there's a single master where we were at day training. It will be there. So close to us, only an hour's drive. There's 5 of them. And I'm rambling here, but we've kind of changed we can't get in the master amateur, but the master national is in Giddings, Texas. So get her 2 passes. She's a master hunter.
Yeah.
Get her third pass for a total of 6, and that'll get her qualified for the master national. So long-winded, but that's we are testing. Yes.
Okay. Craig,
I'll take a drink on that one.
Yeah. Craig, I don't know if you picked up on it, but when he said that she came into heat, and I was like, oh no. I don't know if you know, or anybody that's listening, when it comes to testing, once your dog goes into heat, you can't have your dog around a test, right? It just it sends the males a little bit squirrely and
throws everybody off.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and those males, they know when they're around too. So it can definitely halt your plans. But your time down at H. Cooper Black, like, it was pretty cool because you actually got to meet my buddy, Bill Kennedy. So that was pretty cool when he sent me that picture. And it was you sent me the picture first of you and Bill. And I thought it was awesome that 2 of you got a chance to meet up at H. Cooper Black. And
he rolled into the campsite and I saw Ontario tag. So
yeah, no, it's awesome. But now, so this is all AKC stuff you're doing, right?
Yeah, hunt tests and field trials. That's what we would do.
Yeah, and it's all AKC. So now, I thought I seen something that you posted a while ago. Are you planning on coming up to Canada and doing the Master National in Canada this this fall as well?
Not this fall, no, because it's out west.
Okay,
but
right.
in 26 it'll be in Ontario.
Yeah.
So we were thinking about doing that. I did just get her registered, CKC registered, so save a couple bucks there. I mean, I can run her. I could enter her. I think there's like a $15 or $16 fee each time I would enter her in one of your tests if she's not. It doesn't have a CKC number, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, we jumped through the hoops and got her CKC registered. But yeah, I just thought it'd be fun. Matt Wilson and Sweet Polly and Walt, Vesey, and whomever else will probably be running it. If we can get her through the our Master National, I could automatically enter in yours next year.
Yeah.
So the way in a year's time, or if she had her AKC Master Hunter, all I need is 2 passes of CKC, and then she's eligible to enter and run the Canadian Master National.
And I know when you you got to hang out with Matt Wilson when you were up in PEI this past fall, and of course you and Paulie are good buddies and stuff. But I did see today that Paulie is loaded up. I seen he's got his gunner kennel loaded up in the back of his truck, and it was snowing in PEI. I could tell from the picture, but he's starting to make his way down south, and he did mention the last leg of his trip he's going to be hanging out with you and Karen and doing some training with you guys. So Jaxie will be international here real soon.
He will be. I think Paulie's leaving tomorrow, like 6 a.m.
And
he heads to Bruce, Mississippi, I think it is. Kevin Sheff, his boot camp. And then maybe 3 hours. Foster, Alabama is, Adam Campbell's brain.
Yeah,
stop working. Adam Campbell's Windy Hill Kennels. He's going to hang out there for a little bit. I think Lauren Longovan is there with him, I think. So that's the thing. And then it's got to be a good 20 hours from there to here. And he's going to stop up on the way, on his way back. And we're going to hang out here for a little bit. Maybe, I think hopefully stays for the better part of the week.
Okay, awesome. It's good that we're on here and we're talking more about dogs, because we're applying the pressure to Craig to get him into the dog game. And
you guys and the kids are, well, especially Cam, he's just been relentless.
Has he really?
Yeah.
Well, it's good if the kids are interested. That takes some of the work off of you, right?
Yeah.
And and feel free to ask Jeff. But Jeff, like you're busy with Scoter and Mash, but you're doing a lot of testing and traveling around for your training and getting your testing and stuff done. And I know Craig and his wife Carrie, with them both having full-time jobs. Like, one of the concerns is, how much time do they have to be training a dog and things like that. And I've told Craig, and Phil has told Craig, and other people have as well. But, I think the more people that can tell them, it's really not that much time. You just have to be consistent with your time. That's it.
Yeah.
10 minutes a day is better than 2 hours on Sunday.
Yeah. I think
So
Damien
if
said,
they're like,
Damien said the exact same thing before.
Yeah. I mean, no offense to anybody, but dogs are like kids and you just need to, it's repetitive obedience. But again, like, a dedicated 10 minutes a day. Now, we're not spending 10 minutes a day. We aren't, but I think, especially early on, 10 minutes a day is better than 2 hours on Sunday.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad Cam is keeping up the pressure on you, and I hope you do. I hope you do get a dog, and I know when you will, it'll be the right one for you and stuff like that. But I really can't wait to sit back and watch you. That stage of bringing a puppy home, and everybody's so excited of the puppy, but then at some point it was like, okay, well, now, hey, it's a puppy, but that puppy's got a role to play, and you got to start that training. I wanted to.
I've been sorry, before you move on. I've been looking more like now I've been seeing more litter announcements and that. So I've been watching that, looking at like Scott had said, like looking at mom and dad, looking to see who I like, and just kind of starting to put a little more research into that, and then just timing it too with being able to get it out for training and stuff like that as well, like being able to ship it off to somebody like Scott. So just it's a matter of finding the right litter and the timing of everything.
Yeah, and
Nice.
and I think the biggest thing is setting your expectations, right? So, you know, if you were, let's say, what are we in? We're in April right now. So this was around about the time. No, Lander was born in April. And I picked her up in what that would have been like end of May, June, I guess, when I picked her up. Managing that expectations as hard as it is, and I know fellas that have done it, but I was warned not to, and I didn't. Rushing them out for that first season to hunt and having and putting that pressure on them, right? And I think, Jeff, I don't know how you feel about it, but it was explained to me, like, why are you, this is a long-term commitment. Why are you going to try and rush things right off the bat? You know, get the basics down and make sure the dog is grown and all those plates, and which is the one thing that I didn't understand is those plates that's in the dog. And when they're growing and if you start, you know, fooling with them too much when they're still growing, you could really do some damage to them. So I don't know.
I'm not a good guy to ask that because I need to do it today.
I need to do it today. Yeah, I get you.
I got some people giving me grief, or, you know, rumor mill kind of thing of like, what's Coats doing? You know, I ran Scoter. She was 17 months old in her first master test. She was a senior, went to junior hunter, senior hunter. She's 17 months old. So
yeah,
she'll sit for a triple. Let's go. You know, let's go run a master. My excuse is like, I don't know that I'll be here next month. Right. I want to be, but there's no guarantee that I will. So I need to do what I need to do today. You know, time flies, and I mean, again, I got a birthday coming up next month, and like, you get older every day. So
how old will you be in your birthday, Jeff?
50 didn't bother me. I think 60 is going to bother me a little bit.
Don't worry about it, buddy. Don't worry about it. It's
so good.
Yeah, it's all. Well, you know, I just now, you'll laugh at me, but I just turned 48 last week, right? So I honestly, and I still think I'm 20 years old. Actually, I could probably even pass for younger than 20 mentally with the stuff that I laugh at and stuff that I get on with. I could probably pass for younger than 20. But I don't feel it. Like I've got some aches and pains and stuff, but I don't know. The age thing doesn't bother me. Maybe when the 5-0 hits, maybe it will, but the age thing doesn't get to me.
Well, 50 didn't bother me. What 50 said is, you know, here's the beginning, here's 50. Like, the ending is much closer probably than the beginning, right? So, okay, you know.
Yeah.
But 10 years has passed. It's been a great 10 years. But now, really what hit me was last February when the pups were whelped here.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to say, what you think the average age of a lab is, but ours have been anywhere from, well, we had a young, Bristol didn't live, cancer got her like 8 years old, but I would say 10, 12 years old, easily.
Yep.
When those pups are 10 years old, 11, 12 years old, I'm going to be 70. And that was like a real freaking,
yeah,
like eye opener, like, holy moly, like 10 years is not long.
No.
And so anyway, I don't know, 60, I think it will bother me a little bit, but
I'm sure,
you know, I'm going to hold on to 59.
I'm sure you'll get over it. Hey, listen, let's go off topic here, and we'll only just touch on this very quickly. Is there have you seen an increase to your Crown Black cost at all with all this nonsense going on between the borders?
Not yet.
Okay, good.
No,
that's good.
No, not yet. I mean, we're due to go get some, and you know, I was kind of thinking that myself when we go right, you know, Cheers, Chris at Cheers treats us really well in Berlin there, but no, like, prices have not went up. The bottles changed. I don't know if you know that,
No,
like the 175s don't have a handle on them anymore. Actually, they redid all their bottles. So even those smaller, 750s they're a little bit taller.
Yeah.
Chris' guess was when they're sitting on the shelf that now they're just maybe a tad bit taller than everybody else's 750 when they got them on the shelf. But anyway, the 175s don't have a handle on them anymore. They haven't been in bags in a long time. Just
really,
the 175s. They used to be in a bag, in their own box, right?
Purple bag.
So they did away with the bags on 175. They were still in their own boxes, and now they went to a real, for lack of a better word, a real cheap box. The old box is like heavy duty.
Yeah,
the new box was, it was almost like double cardboard. Like it was heavy duty cardboard, right?
Yeah, I know.
And the new boxes are very, 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 very thin. And the 175s with no handles are now they're just in a case. They still have them cardboarded six, but they've changed up maybe, I don't know, probably six months ago. Really?
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting. I haven't checked because I still got a pretty good selection there on the shelf, but I haven't checked to see if that Kentucky bourbon, if that's been allowed to been sold here in Ontario again yet or not. I don't.
I haven't been into a store in a while, and I haven't even seen anything on Facebook because for a couple of weeks it was shelves, they were emptying shelves, taking all the American stuff off, then they were putting it back and then taking it off again. And even for most things, I don't even know where we're at right now with tariffs. I don't know if they're on, if they're not. Like, can't keep up.
Yeah, you can't keep up. But anyways, we won't go down that rabbit hole because I could do a full hour talking about that kind of stuff, but we don't need to go down there. Jeff, buddy, I did want to talk to you. Like I said, we hadn't talked since I think the second or the split in the season. And even then, I don't think it was a real long discussion or anything. It was mostly just a check-in. But how did your season go this year? Like from social media, it looked like you had a banger of a season. You didn't. I don't think you lost many days to weather, did you?
Yeah, I was gonna say I've had many these hunt tests. Everybody comes up and says, "Hey, man, like how was your season?" I always say it was very windy. Yeah. So I don't, that kind of thing where like what's most recent you remember best.
Yeah.
I would tell you it was in 25 years, it had to be if it wasn't in the top 3, it was in the top 5 of just flat. Every week was windy. Every week was windy. So, yep. There's plenty of birds but the ocean often was very big.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't get that. I didn't get that sense at all. But then, the clients, the ones that did get out, great days. Clients were happy. Lots of memories. I still love the videos of fellas when they're pulling up and it's just bang, bang, bang. Cause I know that would 100% be me. Cause I don't think people realize how hard it is to shoot in a boat in the ocean. It's hard enough to shoot in a boat on a lake or on water.
The boat's big, it's stable, but at the same time, like it does move. It does move. Real quick. So 2 seasons ago, like it was the first time that I had a reel actually get in. I think it ended up being like about 1.5 million. I had lots that would be 500,000, 700,000, 900,000. The one last year, it was early in the season, it went to 1.5 million. And I do the reels every day. I don't do it and often if you weren't in the boat, you don't know. I don't show the people. Like I don't, I just show what's happening. It's rare that maybe I can't say it's rare because sometimes I do swing to who's in the boat, but generally, typically, you don't know who's in the boat. I don't do it to embarrass anybody. Everybody, kind of likes to see it.
Yeah, they're good sports about it.
Right. And it was a Saturday hunt that I put it up Sunday morning. One of the reels had 1.8 million views already, like in less than 12 hours. I'm like, holy shit, Karen, take a look at this.
Wow.
What it turned into is basically just a lot of negative. I still see all the comments. I don't really go back and check to see who they are or what they are.
Right.
But there were quite a few the people hunt that were negative, but basically it's like anti-hunting. But I think it's at like 35 million views right now is the best one.
That's crazy.
Yeah, just like it has a life and it just kind of keeps going. It's just people cut like people just cussing you, you know, and it's like kind of directed at me, and I'm like, hey, in the beginning I was like, I'm just shooting the camera. I don't know, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like people saying they're gonna, I'm calling the Maryland DNR. I was like, here, I'm sure they know who I am here. Like, you know, it's not here. You want their number? Like, you know, sure you can't shoot birds on the water, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, the bird's not at rest, you know, kind of thing. And it's just all kinds of just negative. And it kind of has made me kind of reflective, like maybe it's maybe I should not post these up, you know, because it draws a lot of negativeness. But I can tell you this, in a week's time, for instance, on Instagram, that video, a pair of wood ducks just flew by. It was like just under 10,000 new followers. So there's a certain amount of people out there that are, you know, like it, right? Yeah. And maybe they're people that don't, you know, like to hate, and they're following just to see what I'm doing. I don't know. But yeah, there's 3 videos that are well, the one is like 35 million. And then there's one that's like 5 million and 3 million. But the 35 million one, I don't know if it gets shared. Like, it obviously gets shared.
Yeah.
And it just kind of is like, it just, you know, if you looked at the stats on it, it was just kind of crazy.
I'm going to go tonight and find that video, and I'm going to share it on my own, just see if we can.
And it's funny because, like, I've talked about this before. I've mentioned it to Damien before, when he talks about how busy your socials and that are. I never see anything from you for some reason. It's like,
it's just the way that algorithm works, you know.
I noticed that a while ago. Nothing comes up.
Like on my dashboard, like through that time period, especially through January, man, I would what it says, you know, total impressions or people that get seen. It was like 42 million. Right now, I just looked the other day because I figured it would fall off. It's like 3.5 million in a week. But still, that's still a pretty big number. Sometimes a little bit scary too, that there is that many people kind of following along with what I'm doing. But I don't know. It is what it is.
The thing that and this is a conversation that I've had with, you know, my buddy Daryl Gilbert, who runs the Saskatchewan Lodge for Ongaros. And we've been having this conversation, and I don't want to take anything away from anybody, because I don't want to be that guy. I think everybody is doing their bit, what they feel is bringing entertainment to the waterfowl community. And I think it's wonderful. As long as you're being ethical, I think it's, and you're following the law, I think all of it is wonderful, and I think we need it. But when I look at yours, and I don't know, maybe there's more people like you, Jeff, that's doing it, but I don't see them. I see your stuff, but it is the 30, 40 seconds, and it is just as real, and I say real with it in quotation marks, with, you know, the sea, there's misses, there's times when people do hit the birds, there's times when they miss, there's the chowder out on the boat. Those are the things I think we are at the point in the social media pendulum swing where I think now people they want to see honest to goodness, real stuff. The shock and awe and the craziness, I think people are past that now. I think they just want to see just honest to goodness fellas out having fun. If you miss, you miss. If you harvest your bird, you harvest your bird. I honestly do think that.
Yeah, it's more relatable, and it's still entertaining, but it's on a more relatable sort of level.
Yeah, there's a couple times I don't show stuff, and I'll, you know, kind of get Karen's perspective as a not that she's a non-hunter, but a passive hunter. How about?
Right.
And there's sometimes stuff like I was like, I don't know, man. It looks like, as being, if you want to say respectful to the bird, like, I don't know. That looks like it's not. So the one that it's just under 35 million. A bird comes in, to me it gets hit, and they must shoot 10 times at the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's on the water, and it's not really reacting to the shot. You know, the patterns. If you take a look at it, you'll see it's pinned. The patterns are big. Or they're below it, to the left of it, to the right of it, above it. But there are some that look, if you want to say painful to the bird, that I don't, she'll say, yeah, I agree with you on that. It's not that's not the best one to show. So
Right.
I do kind of I am kind of have a little bit of a filter. But at the same time, like, I mean, it is real. Like you said, I mean, it's what I see daily.
Yeah.
And again, like the one that's the 35 million, I don't point and show them who they are. Like, so it's not, they're not getting embarrassed. So they know who they are. Maybe they read the comments, they might be embarrassed, but I'm not saying, hey, Johnny, like, what are you doing? Like, I don't turn it like that. I just, it's what I see daily, and it's what I experience daily. It's real. Like you said, it's real life. It's not made up.
Yeah. It's not doctored.
It's happening.
It's in the moment. It's shot. What I love, and I see more and more of it every day. Craig, and I think I just cut you off, but what I love is that everything you're doing is done with your iPhone. You're not bringing it home. You're not editing it. You're not adding anything to it. The only thing sometimes you'll add your a little bit of guitar picking and your logo. That's really the only thing that you do to the videos. And I think it's real. The other thing that this is what I truly do think, and for the 35 million views, there is a very, very small percentage of North American duck hunters that have ever hunted the way that you hunt. And I think that is an enigma to most people, where they're like, man, that is just crazy how they're hunting. And I think that there's a lure to that's so foreign to most people.
Well, and Ocean City's right in the background. And so some of the comments will be, well, what about the people on the beach? Like, you're shooting rifles in the ocean. Well, right there, somebody has no idea. What about all that lead that you're putting into the ocean? Well, again, there's somebody that doesn't know what's going on.
That's right.
And again, like, a shotgun doesn't. I mean, they're having trouble hitting the birds. Yes, you see the condos and the buildings in the background, right? But I mean, people they're like ants. Like, you get a lot of those comments. So again, a lot of it is just people that have no clue to what's going on. But then again, there's a lot of people that are. They are hunters, and they're taking shots, so taking shots at either me or people hunting, other hunters. So,
well, I think that's the the double-sided sword of this, right? Like, you live and die by it, and that's the social media, right? So for all of the good that it could do for your brand, it could also bring on the negative, right? And listen, let's face it, Jeff, man, like, you've been doing this for a long time, and I'm not here to blow smoke up your ass or to pump your tires, but there's a lot of people, most people that are duck hunters and that have been around and have been following. They know your name, they know you, and listen, there is a bit of jealousy. Like, how is he still doing it? How is he still being successful at it after all these years? And you would have seen it. You would have seen guides come and go on the Chesapeake and Maryland. You've seen fellas start up because they're like, oh, this is easy. Go out in the boat and smash scoters all day. Oh, this is easy. I can charge a pile of money, and they last a season or two, and then they pack it up, right? So there's always going to be jealousy. There's always going to be a hater. So, you just gotta, and I'm saying this, I'm saying you got to roll with the punches, and I'm saying this, whereas, Craig and Phil and Mark know, like, it tears me up when people say that stuff about me, but yet I'm telling you, just roll with the punches. Don't worry about it. But it totally tears me up when it happens.
No, I mean, I can say, except for somebody telling me they know where I live and they're going to come shoot me, which is, it's in that thread has been brought up.
Oh boy.
I just said, hey man, bring it strong. If you're going to do this, like, please, I mean, don't, if you come in my driveway, like, if you're really going to do it, like, be prepared, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Karen's a better shot with a 9mm than I am.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, that's probably the only thing that maybe kind of struck a little nerve in me, like, fuck, like, and I'm sure somebody just, just looking for the reaction kind of thing. But all the other stuff, it doesn't really bother me. Maybe if I was 30, half a life ago, I probably would feel I'd get all, want to get all angry about it. It's like, hey, I used to say, hey, have a great day.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know what? I appreciate you taking the time to follow along with me. So I would say something like that to somebody, you know, it's like, and in the beginning, if you really, lately, again, during duck season, I would take the time to answer some of these people. Just like, hey, I appreciate you following, or, you know, when there's something snide or something rude or something nasty, you know, hey, I appreciate you following with me. Thank you. You know, kind of thing.
And especially like those comments where they just, you know, like you're saying, people just don't know, right? Where they're complaining about, well, you're shooting at the people on the beach, and it's good to, you know, do you take the time to try and educate people when, you know, usually it's not going to go anywhere? Is there going to be any benefit to it, or is it just going to kind of keep going down and down and just get worse?
Well, there was a guide way back in the day that taught me a lesson. This is way back in the Avery outdoor forums, or the internet forum days, but specifically Avery Outdoors, is like you cannot argue with somebody online, because as soon as you reply to them, then they're going to rebut you, and then you're going to feel obligated to go back in and answer them, and it just never ends, because you know, maybe somebody gives up and just says, you know, no mas, you know, kind of thing. But like, so I learned, hey, have a nice day. Right. Yeah. I appreciate your thoughts. Thank you. And just move on, because you cannot argue with somebody publicly, because it's just going to, every time one replies to the other, it just perpetuates it. There's not going to be, obviously you don't have the same, you know, the same idea, or not coming from the same point of, not the same perspective.
Yeah.
Because you're, you know, kind of countering each other. So you can't. But anyway, he taught me the lesson way back in the day, and that would probably been in like 2000, I don't know, probably 2006, 2007. And from there, like, again, like, it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't really bother me. So I was like, hey, have a great day. Thanks. Okay. Appreciate you take the time to follow along with what we're doing.
Hey, that's the right response to have. And I think for most of these people, like, they're looking for a fight. So when you say, hey, thanks for following along, and you sort of kind of leave it at that infuriates them more than any argument you could ever have with them.
And you've already got the interactions on your dashboard, right. So they're still helping you out.
Well, that and there are people that'll get on there and say, you guys are idiots. All you're doing is helping him. Like, all this stuff that you're saying, you guys are, you're stupid. You're stupid, you know, kind of thing. Right. So I just, as we were looking here, it's called the professional dashboard. It just says views. Right.
Yeah.
So like, it's like after duck season, it kind of fell off at, like, you know, 3.1, 3.5, somewhere in there. But like during the peak of that thing in January, like, it was 40 million views on the professional dashboard. So,
wow.
It's gotta be worth something, right?
Yeah. Tag me in, because I'm going scrolling through, but I can't see the videos. Like, I can't see the view.
Well, if you go if you just go to my account, right?
Yeah.
Just hit the center button is the reels.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And it'll be there's 1.3 million, 2.2 million, and
34.7 million.
Yep.
Buddy, I'm going to tell you that even before I shot guns and shot shotguns and was in the military and stuff, I'm looking at where your boat is and the direction that you're shooting towards Ocean City. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know what would hit a person from that distance, rifle wise.
So in Maryland, to be legal to shoot sea ducks, to target sea ducks, you must be at least 800 yards from any land. So a minimum in any of these reels, anything you see of mine, that you can see Ocean City, we're at a minimum of 800 yards. But I can tell you we're two times that. Yeah, easily 2 times that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
just shared it. So I want to see it.
It'll get you some hate.
I don't care. Well, I shouldn't say I don't care about it, but no, it's not that I'm going to pop you over 40 million or even get you 1 million views, but I like it. I do. I really do like it. And that's I don't know, you know, when people throw out numbers, and here's a rabbit hole to go down. Do people realize how big a number 1 million is? Like, that is such a crazy, staggering number. 1 million.
Oh, like I said, Karen just walked past, but it was like, wasn't 12 hours up in the morning. I look at it, I was like, it's 1.8 million. I'm like, holy fuck.
Wow.
You know, like, Like what's Karen, take a look at this. It was crazy. Again, I don't know, I guess I can take a look here. How many shares that it's got. Let me see if I can, so supposedly it's almost 70,000 shares.
Whoa.
Yeah. Almost 70,000 shares, 125,000 people love it. There's not over 9,500 comments. So, it's, whoops, sorry.
That is in 70,000 shares. I'm just going to look.
Yeah, I mean, and again, so that's I'm sure. So there was a time, like, let's say my Pitboss Waterfowl Facebook page. I'm scrolling through, and all of a sudden, how many stars it's got, right? All of a sudden, like it was like 3 something. I'm like, holy moly, who did I do wrong, right? So I get on there, and it was like from Great Britain, like it was a bunch of people that were on there just cussing hunting, and they all gave me one star, right? So it's and then I kind of posted up. So anyway, a lot of people came back in, and it's like I'm thinking I'm at 4.8 or 4.9, but if you go look at the one star reviews, it's all people that are just anti-hunters, and I'm assuming when one of them got it, they shared it with their group or their friends, and they all just piled on. And I think that's like when you see that this almost 70 million shares, it's people sharing amongst themselves saying, look at these assholes, kind of thing. Or anti type people.
Yeah. Jeff, you sort of kind of talked about it at the beginning when you talked about, the structure and Karen left.
Easy. She can hear you now.
Yeah, I know she can hear me. And Karen left a job and she left her job, which she had a great job and the whole bit. But then, she sort of kind of came on. And I remember, when she got dedicated, and she was like, Jeff, you have a ton of stuff here. I'm going to start moving some of this stuff. I'm going to start selling some of this stuff. And because you don't need the 4 sets of waders, and you don't need all these decoys and all this stuff. And, now, like I look at things now on your social media, and obviously I follow Karen as well. Right. But, and I see the things that Karen is doing for Pitboss Waterfowl. And then you guys travel everywhere. You guys do everything together. How much or how different is it for you and your daily routine now that Karen is as much involved now as what you are, really?
Yeah. So, I mean, way back when we made the move here and did the construction and tried to get everything, ship shape as much as we could. We don't have the lodging upstairs, but if we were going to, if and when we do the lodging, I cannot do that myself. Right. So Karen, that's definitely going to be your, that's your area. For as far as, not that I won't cook and can't help with that, but cooking, I can entertain too, but entertaining, keeping housekeeping upstairs, that is all that needs to be you. Yeah. And so that's one part of it. And then the second thing is, I just had a plan of like, well, I want to try to average X amount of dollars a day, and her not working, not going away from the house, and being here with me is going to make me more productive. So that was kind of the thought process and plan. And to be honest with you, she, the job, although it afforded us a lot, it afforded us the loans and afforded us to do things here, her income, she just wasn't happy. Right. So, I like to say she's 10 years younger than me, which she's not. She's 7 years younger. But, the last couple of years there where she was managing basically two vet clinics, hospitals, they paid her very well, but like she truly just wasn't happy. Yeah. So hopefully, this, although she'll tell you she went inside, so I can say it again, but she struggles with it. There's no structure. But hopefully she's happier, and that's we had a little talk as we drove up to, this morning that, that I don't know, sometimes maybe I think I might be too over the top for her, but I think, she does get and understand me, and she says she's happier that we've done this than if we didn't do it. So, well,
I not that Karen and I are great friends, but I have been around her. I have been in her presence. I have hung out with her. Karen Coats do not strike me as the woman that or as the type of woman that if she had a problem with something, she wouldn't address it. So I think
100%. Yeah.
I think if she wasn't happy or whatever, I think you would know about it. And you know what? Like I see her, and if she hears this, or if you tell her and she can take it for what it's worth. But I watch her now, and I see her when she's got mash or scout or whoever it is. Like her handling ability has drastically improved.
Thank you.
Yeah, it has, and that's just come from being in that circle and being around the people and seeing it and just the practice and stuff. So she seems like she's having fun with you, anyways.
Yeah, I think she has the attitude more of she doesn't want to mess. Like, let's say if she's going to throw birds and be in the field, she doesn't want to mess someone else's dog up, and or she doesn't want to mess our dogs up.
Right.
So we had 3 setups today, and between the second and the third setup, the fellow that's kind of running it, he was kind of looking long term, next couple of weeks about training, the dynamics of the group, and just wanted, he basically invited us. It's a new group that on Thursday we train with, and he did say, he's like, hey, big fella, he says, you should let her run some.
Yeah.
So, if she was in this conversation, she'd tell you she doesn't want to mess the dogs up. So anyway, long story short, for the last series, I did say, I said, Karen, go get Rye. So Rye is Rye's the mother of the pups, and Rye is a 6-year-old junior hunter. And the plan is that getting her up to speed here, that between 7 years, 8 years old, that Rye will be a dog that Karen can run her and master hunt.
Oh yeah.
So Karen needs to, Karen's handling ability or knowledge needs to grow. So anyway, quick little talk. I said, hey, Andy said, why don't you run some of these dogs? She's like, oh, I'll run Mash. I'm sorry, I'll run Rye. She says, but stand there with me and tell me what to do. So calmly and quietly, I just said, do this, do that, on the radio call for the birds. And she did a really great job. So I think she'll get more confidence as we go along with this, but it's a learning curve for her. She just, again, I think she would tell you, we only get so many, there's only so much opportunity to train, and she doesn't want to set the dogs back by, quote, not by messing them up.
Yeah.
So she'd just rather, she likes to take videos. So I like the video. So she'd rather just video, and she learns from that. But we're always, like other people are trying, they're running a blind, and they give a verbal. I was like, Karen, that should be silent. Just silent can't, but they did a verbal or what. We're always just trying to help her. Actually, tomorrow, I judged 2 years ago, I guess it was, I judged a derby with a good friend of mine. And, they needed help. So she marshaled. So she didn't really get to sit and see the derby. And again, with the pups, there's a possibility, maybe in the fall, we'd like to run them in a derby. So there's one that's very close to us tomorrow. I was like, hey, let's just ride over and let's just watch a series of a derby. Yeah. Well, we did it's the Talbot Retriever Club. We went to their training day last Saturday, and at the training day, they said, hey, we could really use some help, this coming weekend is our trial. So I was like, how about I go over and help with the derby? I'll go out and throw birds, whatever. I said, you just stay at the line and watch and learn. And she just needs to absorb, as much like when I first, back, 2002, I didn't know everything there was to know. And there's a learning curve, and just try to absorb, learn by watching a lot of people, listening to a lot of people, and just try to grow.
That is, and I don't know, maybe people might think of it as selfish on my part, but that's part of the reason why I want Craig to get a dog so bad, is because I want to be part of the conversations with Craig when he says, man, I should have done this, or
there'd be a lot of questions,
or it'll be like, I did this and this is how the dog, and I'm by no means an expert. I'm not a trainer. I'm nothing. I've said this a million times. Bill Kennedy spends more time training me than he does Lander. But I want to be part of those conversations with new dog owners where you can, and if Karen was here right now, and I think this is something that Karen and I would have in common, is that I'm a very confident person with my dog until test day. And on test day, I am not confident. I am a bag of nerves, and I don't get nervous on stuff. Like I've never been a nervous person. I've never been that guy that stressed out over exams or anything like that. But on those dog tests, like I am not a confident person at those dog tests. And I would love talking to people that are like, oh man, like I wish I would have done this, or now I see. So like when you say a silent cast or a verbal, like there's times when I'm like, man, I should have just done a silent cast there. It shouldn't have been a verbal and save that verbal for the last one or whatever. You know what I mean? So I can't wait for Craig to do it, because I want to be part of the conversations with him, and I want to chat with him while he's doing his training and stuff.
Talking about getting nervous. I'm sorry. Go, Craig.
I was just going to say there won't be any shortage of messages when it happens.
Oh, but I think that's the, you know, if you're a I don't want to say a responsible dog owner, but if you're serious about the training of your dog, then if you're not willing to ask questions and learn, I think you're setting yourself up for failure. Jeff, you want to say something, buddy? Or sorry.
Well, you just did go, Craig.
I was just going to say that it's funny that you're saying Karen's view on things with messing anything up, because that's what I've said over and over again. That's always been a big thing for me, is I've never had a dog, so there's that fear of trying to put that work in and just messing it right up. So it was just funny to hear you say that.
It's not so much. I don't think Karen. Sorry, Jeff. I don't think Karen's concerned about messing up the dog. It's more or less messing up that training day or that 10
that opportunity in that moment.
Yeah. That 10-minute window that dog has to train. That's what she's worried about. You're not going to screw a dog up in one day. Well, I suppose you could if you were crazy, but it's not that. Sorry, go, Jeff.
No, I was going to say, you said that. I mean, it takes a lot to quote ruin a dog, right? Yeah. Repetitive negative things can, but I mean, for maybe an ill-timed correction here or there, like one time here, one time there. That's usually dogs are pretty forgiving and but repetitive, day after day after day after day, week after week of that stuff. Yeah, like you can definitely get yourself into a bad place. But a misstep here, misstep there. But it's more of that. Here's this little window of opportunity. There's I don't know how many. There was maybe like 12 dogs there today, and you sit there and you put in the effort. You wait your time, wait your turn, and then it's your turn. And like again, that's your opportunity of that. You're only gonna get 3 chances. We only did 3 setups, so you got basically 5 to 8 minutes in the setup, and we want to get. I would guess that she wants to make sure we get our maximum training value from that moment. But yeah, it's nervousness. So this is I train at this spot 3 times a week, and it's a place where a lot, like I can't say all, but most of the hunt tests and field trials most of the hunt tests take place at this property. I can go there every day. Showed up there today.
Yeah.
No big deal. We're there to train. If we were going to go there tomorrow for a master test, as soon as I turn off the main highway about 5 miles out, all of a sudden I start to feel it well up in me.
Yeah.
And by the time I'm turning onto the property, holy moly. Like but I'm there 3 times a week, and it's not a big deal, right? This is a new training group. I did tell Karen, so this is just how my mentalness works. It was a new training group, and the same kind of thing. The day I pulled on the property, I had a little bit of this feeling pop up me, like, okay, I haven't done this with these guys. I don't know what all the whole dynamic is. There was just that unknown or the uncertainty, but definitely on a hunt test weekend, a field trial weekend, I think it's probably the more of me just worrying that I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail. And I've failed in September. I'm sorry, September. In February and March this year, we do have some failures to Scoter and my our name, and I have to take responsibility for really all of it, but definitely handling some handling errors that I've learned. I love notes in my phone, and I've made my little list of stuff that I've written down. So hunt test morning, when I do get in there, I'm going to open it up and read through and make sure, just help remind me that they are in my memory, but at the same time, I'm just going to read over again. And these are the things, this is issues we've had already this year. So just remember when these situations arise, to, try to act accordingly.
Yeah. And not to turn this back and forth, me to you or whatever, but for me, it's, I know what my dog's potential is, and I'm the one that, so when things go, if she fails, it's because of me. It's never been because of her. It's always been because of me, because I didn't do something right on the test day. So I didn't air her out long enough to run off that little bit of steam that she would have had. And you know what? There's always these little things, and every dog is different. So I just Craig, buddy, like I said, I'm at you all the time to be getting a dog, and I really just, I want to be able to experience and be there and listen to you when you're training your dog and getting your dog ready, because I just want to be part of those conversations. That's what I can't wait. Honestly, God, I'm just as excited about you getting a dog as what you and the boys are, to be honest.
Well, I'm looking forward now, because the more, now that the boys are talking about it more, like I'm looking forward to that, and because I didn't have that growing up, right? I never had a dog, so I never had that experience of growing up with that dog, and so I'm looking forward to them having that opportunity, and it's funny, kind of like what Jeff was saying, as far as, I'm thinking, okay, by the time these dogs are old and 10 years down the road, now I'm looking at that stage where it's like, well, Caleb's 12 now, and it's like, by the time we get a dog, it's gonna be that dog that is at home when he goes away to college or something, right? And it's like he comes home to visit on the weekend. So like now I've got all that stuff going through my head too, right? So thinking of all that built-in nostalgia and stuff like that.
I never thought about that, and now you said that about college, and then Jeff talking about, when the pups were born. Well, I'm going to be 70 years old when the pups are at the I don't want to sound morbid or anything like that, but
towards the end of their life, 100%.
Yeah. I never ever really thought about it. Do you know what I mean? Like I always just think, well, I don't know, maybe it's just wishful thinking or being oblivious to things, but I never ever thought about that, oh crap, like Lander is she'll be 6 next week. Maybe I've got 2-3 years of her hunting left. And as hard as that she goes, like it wouldn't surprise me if her joints start acting up sooner than then, and where she can't do a big field hunt. You know what I mean? So this fall is going to be the big test for going out to Saskatchewan, because this will really be her first year of actually.
It'll be a lot of work.
It'll be a lot of work for her. And she's a small dog, and bringing back now specs and snow she'll be all right with. I think Canada's she kind of struggles with, but it's going to be interesting, and I don't know, maybe I don't know, guys, you really got that put in my head now, and I'm going to be thinking about that all the time now. I never ever did, and wow.
And the other thing I was thinking, timing wise too, it's like, again, like if who knows what Caleb's going to do when it comes time to finish high school and that, but now I'm looking at, it's like, well, that dog is going to be my buddy to go do something with, right? Because it's like by the time Caleb's done, if he's taken off, Cam's going to be at the age where he doesn't give a shit about hanging out with me. So I'm like, well, I'm going to need somebody to hang out with.
Yeah.
So that's where the dog comes in.
Hey, buddy, I'm going to tell you, you'll tell that dog's secrets that you've never ever spoke to anybody in your life about.
I got all my little sayings, and one of my sayings is dogs get way too old, way too fast.
100%.
Yep.
100%. Craig, buddy, I'm going to tell you, if you think the pressure is going to stop, it's not going to stop. I'm going to keep until you pull the trigger and actually have a pup in your. As long as it's not a brown dog, I'm happy. That's all.
To give you an idea of kind of like how serious I am about finally moving forward with it. Like I've told you before, I have no desire to move into like supervisor or management or anything at work.
Yeah.
But it's like when I do act for my supervisor, I look at the pay stubs. I'm like, the wage gap's getting a little bit better now, where it's almost worthwhile to actually have to deal with the headaches of becoming a supervisor. And I'm like, that extra money would go a long way to pay for the dog, pay for the training. So it's like, yeah, it's like when I'm actually contemplating becoming a supervisor when I've never wanted to, it's getting serious.
Well, I would say if you're a supervisor, you have a little bit more leeway to say, hey, I got to knock off 10 minutes earlier because I got something to do. Then that'll give you 10 minutes earlier to get to the training grounds. It'll probably benefit you more ways than just monetarily.
Yeah.
If that's Craig, I have been following along with the dog pressure over the last how many ever episodes, right? The one thing I have not heard anybody tell you is that the cheap, if you want to use the word cheap, the cheapest part of this dog experience is going to be the purchase price of the dog. That's going to be, that's the best. That is even if it's $3,000, that's going to be the lowest cost in all this. After that, it can get costly. We showed up today and there's, I don't know, Pro Plan. There must have been, Karen's in a program, but anyway, there was, I think there was 8 50-pound bags of Pro Plan out here today. So yeah, there's lots of costs. Yeah. Purchasing the animal, your dog that's the cheapest thing you're going to do.
Well, I don't know what it's like around your training grounds, Jeff, but around a lot of the CKC field trials and stuff that I see, and this is not a blanket statement, but there's not many people under the age of 50, or I shouldn't say that. There's not many people under the age of 40 that's doing field trials and stuff. And there's a reason for that, because it's mostly people that are retired and then got a bit of time on their hands and they can do the travel and they can, like what you guys did. And I seeing more and more of it now is purchasing the RV and towing it along instead of staying in a Motel 8 anymore. They're just towing an RV and setting up at the training grounds and the whole bit. So, the $2,500 investment into the dog, that's the least of your worries, I think.
It only gets worse from there.
Now I got to get a trailer.
now you got to buy an RV. Hey, and that's the thing. Like that's another, and we could do another show on this, another hour episode on this, Jeff. But if that's the route you want to go, like if you want your dog to be, a master hunter, like Lander will be 6, like I said, this month. Lander's got 2, she's only got 2 passes master hunter. And she's 6. If you really wanted to go nuts at this trials and getting titles, buddy, that could be a full-time gig in itself. And take away the hunting training, but then that's a totally different ball of whatever. I don't even know what I'm going to say there. But
so Lander's sire.
Yeah, Tucker just got put into the Hall of Fame.
Right. So Alex Abraham, Tucker's owner, and I got into dogs pretty much at the same time. He had a chocolate dog named Jackson. You can check out Pitboss's Black Labs. Episode 2 is up, where I kind of do talk about this real quick. Alex Abraham. Yeah. If you remember the original Avery sporting dog logo was a kind of a dog jumping sideways.
Yeah.
Anyway, I took that picture of Alex's dog Jackson, and they used it for the logo. Anyway, back in the day, Alex and I, with Richard Barnes, who just passed away recently, we trained with him, and Richard went and trained daily. There, well, it's not that logo, but yes, there's actually a dog that's
right, the full silhouette of the dog.
Yes, yeah. That was here,
that was Jackson's. Yeah,
there he is.
Yeah, I know the
right?
one.
So that, and then it turned into into that, right?
Right.
So Richard would shoot flyers for a field trial pro Ed 40. And Richard finally got us, Alex and I, with Ed, and we would throw birds for Ed. Had a truck and a trailer, 24 dogs. And at the end, we got to run our dogs on Ed's setups. So we were kind of free help, free throwers, but we got to train daily.
Yeah.
We were around all these awesome animals, man. Just, field champions, amateur field champions. And, Alex and I, we were just, I did get, Coot was my black female. She was a young master hunter, 26 months old. She was a master hunter. Wow. I did get her qualified all age at like 4.5 months or 4.5 years old. Jackson never did get qualified all age, but we thought, man, if we had a half of an all age point, which would be 4th place.
Yeah.
A win is 5 points. Second is 3 points.
Yeah.
Third is a point. And then 4th is a half a point.
Yeah.
If we had half of an all age point, that would be like we had a field champion, right?
Yep. Yep.
And so the joke goes, Alex says, hey, and I had Tucker, which has 285 all age points or whatever. And I tell Alex, like, well, I still don't have a half an all age point. So I have my window, I don't know how many years, but I'm guessing with the ones we have is like 8 to 10 years. I need before I leave this earth, I need a half of an all age point. Alex has warned me, when I get to half an all age point, he says, then you're going to want a point. Then you're going to want 3 points. And then you're going to want the win. Yeah. I said, well, I don't know about that, but I said, I definitely need half of an all age point. So,
no, I seen that, Tucker got put into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Which is pretty amazing to know that. And then, I always keep track of Walt Vesey too, right? And that's one of Lander's litter mates. And Walt has done an amazing job with his dog. I forget the name.
I can't. We actually, we were at Pavo on the way out. We swung by Boston, Georgia, and we actually caught up with Walt before we left Georgia.
But I'm going to tell you, Tucker's lineage, because Bill and I trained the dog. Well, mostly Bill, not me, but we trained a dog, Lily, and that would have been Tucker's granddaughter, because it was Walt Vesey's dog that sired one of the guys in PEI. I forget his name now. You know him, Jeff.
Dave Butler.
Yeah, Dave Butler. So we got a pup from him. We trained her. She's down in well, you probably would have seen her because she's with Bill down in South Carolina right now. Lily. It just, the lineage and the bloodline was just incredible, just an incredible dog. So yeah.
I'm looking forward to a couple weekends from now, May 3rd and 4th. I actually am going to judge an amateur with Alex, so we're gonna get to sit together.
Sweet.
He asked me, he's like, "Come on, man, let's have some fun." So
yeah,
I want to start judging some more myself. So,
well, I tell you what, you need to get on this National Retriever Club, the one that the traveling judges for the National Retriever Club, because Bill Kennedy was a judge in Oregon in 2023, and he was telling me just how they are set up and just how professional an organization that is. And I'm like, how do you get involved in that? And he was like, buddy, there's a long list of fellas waiting to get in there. But anyways, no, it's great. Craig, I hope you're not sick of talking about dogs, because before, I'm going to have Matt Pomeroy and Bill Kennedy on here soon, and Matt Wilson, I'm going to get him on again, because Matt is just a brilliant mind when it comes to dogs, and not just retrievers, just on obedience and every walk of dog that you can find. So you're not escaping this, buddy. Not in the slightest. Jeff, buddy,
more info the better.
Yeah. Jeff, buddy, anything that you wanted to talk about that I never really got a chance to say or bring up?
No, man, I'm just we're just moving along, keeping things busy. We did just I had this idea of doing Pitboss's Black Labs.
Yeah,
kind of a YouTube vlog, if you will, a little YouTube series. I wanted to start in September. I actually had it all written out, storyboarded, and just never,
cool.
Just never got it going. But anyway, we do have 2 episodes up. We did the training, kind of made a little impromptu last the training session, the club day, excuse me.
Yeah,
we did last week. We kind of made that episode 1, episode 2 the other day, just sitting. Karen thought it was a great idea. Well, if we're going to do this, let's start to let's introduce the pup. So, some people that follow along can maybe, know a little bit about them. So we kind of did, like, it was only about 8 minutes long, but that's the one with I talked about Alex, because Scoter, in her pedigree, there's a FCAFC Texaco star. That was Alex's female. So that's Scoter's grandmother.
Okay.
Anyway, so Alex's name was in the pedigree a couple times. There was another dog. Anyway, I'm gonna go through it all, but it's connected and related. So anyway, we just did episode 2 of that. And I really want to try to do, get a short or long version of that up on YouTube weekly, and just again, train.
Yeah,
I say train and go.
Sorry, go. Keep going, buddy. Sorry. Well, I haven't. I know you've done it. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but it's really cool because I think the viewer will build a relationship with the dog. So if you start at episode 1 and you start with that progression, I've gotta make sure I ping that and get it up on my playlist. Because I want to watch it. And listen, as a guy that owns a dog, you'll never stop learning. So anything you can pick up from somebody else, I'm always willing to do. So that'll be really cool. I actually think that's a really cool idea, and I've got to watch it. And but
thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was, you're good. It was Karen's idea, really, like the dogs that are alive. I actually, my thought process was to try to give a little bit of history of where, how with dogs, how did I get to here today with dogs? So I really had it storylined out, boarded out, that, I wanted to go back and talk about Coot, my older dogs. Coot, the dogs aren't with us anymore, and talk about, not to be the old guy, but talk about those days, 20 years ago. What I did 20 years ago got me here today.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a good place, I'm a good place, or a bad place with dogs, what I did 20 years ago is why I'm here today. And so I really, and I'm going to go back and visit that, because I still have them all written out. It's just going to take a little bit more effort to actually, the old footage that I have, and little pictures, and just kind of more of a little tribute to those older dogs that I had. So, and again, kind of procrastinated on that with duck season. And so anyways, like, hey, we went to training day last week. I was like, Karen, record this. Let's make this episode 1. Let's get this thing started. Let's kick it off, because I want to do it.
Yeah.
We trained the other day, and I was like, hey, little impromptu thing. Your idea about introducing dogs. We're done training. Let's just sit down here real quick. And I think it was about 8 minutes long. Let's talk about Scoter, tell what Scoter is, what our plans are, and let's move on. And we're going to do it with the other dogs too.
I've got a question to ask you, Jeff.
What you got?
When you're, and this got nothing to do with dogs. This is completely when it comes to capturing content and video. This is the I can storyboard all these things. This is what I want to do. I want to do this, and I want to get this angle, and I can picture it all in my head. And then when it comes to actually doing it, and if somebody else is involved, because I can't do it by myself, I've got to have somebody else to help me with it. I always think that everybody is just like, oh, God, can we just get this over with? Like, this is like, we're doing the same thing over and over. Like, we just changed like I remember talking to Paulie about when he would do stuff with DUTV and getting B-roll footage of Fred Zink walking through a gate or something, and they would do that like 10 times to get the proper angle or the right look. Do you ever get like, are people starting to get like irritated with me because I'm trying to, like, I'm slowing them down, or I can't, I'm not getting the video that I want. Are they getting irritated with me? Do you ever think that?
Well, in my case, it's if I'm going to irritate somebody, it's going to be Karen. Because
Fair enough.
I mean, it's just really, being sincere, right?
Yeah, no,
and
I get it.
And she knows enough now. She understands. So she's a very good sport, a very good player. When we do this kind of stuff, we trained in a mixed group the other day, and Karen says somebody was asked, person asked the person, like, what's she recording everything for? Like, are they going to use it against? It's like, no, that's just what they do,
Right.
Well, like, no, I don't think so. I mean, it's just she and I. It's rare that I would say, hey, stop and let's go redo that. I do like it to be, like we talked about earlier, I like it to be real.
Right.
And sometimes the stuff that's do we have a minute?
Buddy, we got all kinds of time.
Okay. All right. Well, this is way back in the D3 TV days.
Yeah.
We shot a banded brant that Diamond went out, retrieved it, and we just stood like we didn't know how to react to this band. So we threw the bird back out there and had her go back out. We did this, hey, wow, and like when we sat down to edit it, like, you know what? The way it really happened, I won't say we just stood there and didn't know what to do. We're like, hey, it's cool. Hey, we got a band. That's cool. But well, maybe we can make it better. So we threw the bird back out there and, kind of amped it up. Yeah. Like, yeah, nah, that doesn't really, so right. I guess where I'm trying to go with this is the real stuff, at least in my, in my time of doing this stuff, kind of seems to work out the best anyway.
Yeah.
And, I can't. Good.
Yeah, no, I think the viewer can tell when it's scripted too. So keeping it real,
people can pick up on the that you did it 10 times to make it look natural.
I think so. I think for the most part, people can pick up on it, right? Like,
well, I think that's where it gets good, like with the like the added footage too, like, going through the gate or climbing the fence or something like that's. I think that's the opportunity to make it a little more not autistic, artistic, to cinematic. Yeah. Like, I think that's your opportunity to do that sort of stuff, right? Where, it's like if you're doing things like throwing the bird back out to, like, you're taking away from that stuff that happened in the moment. There's other ways that you can make it a little more artistic and a little more entertaining.
I don't know. Did you guys ever watch? It was a YouTube channel. I don't even know if these guys are still on the go, but they were called the Nomad Chronicles. And it was a YouTube channel, and it was White Rock Decoys, I think was the name of the company. And they had this show, and it was called the Nomad Chronicles. Anyways, so this is sort of kind of to that point where, film and stuff, and it's real and the whole bit. So they're filming a hunt, and one of the guys is watching these birds work, and he targets a specific bird, pulls up 3 shots, misses it. Now, someone will probably tell me I got this all wrong, but the gist of the story is he pulls up, fires 3 shots, misses the bird. They go back to the hotel that night, and they're going through the video of the day, and it's a bibbed mallard that he misses, and they're filming each other as they're going through and editing video. And the guy that actually missed the bib mallard, he is losing his mind that he missed this mallard. And it was, and I don't know, maybe that was something. Maybe they were like, oh, we gotta record this, and then they reset the whole thing. I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you, it looked authentic, and the guy was just absolutely gutted that he pulled up on this bib mallard and missed it 3 times, right, and it was right in range a whole bit to her. But fellas, we could keep going. I know we can, and we're about 75 minutes in right now. So Jeff, yeah, let's do around the table, and I'll end it. But let's do around the table. Craig, to you first, my man.
It's good talking with you, Jeff. I think the last time we were on the same call was probably the 200th episode, I would think. I don't think it's been since then.
Yeah, probably.
But so yeah, good chatting with you. Good seeing you. And I got to get on to Instagram and that and see why it is I'm not seeing all your stuff.
See the big time reel.
Yeah, there's a bell. If you go,
got to set the notifications.
Yeah, you just got to set the notifications. Jeff, to you, my man.
I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you very much, Craig. I wish you the best in your how would we say dog
adventure.
Adventure. I was not selection. Your dog chronicles. I don't know. Anyway, dogs. Dog. I don't know. Is that a good
that would be? Hey, dude, I'm telling you, that's a YouTube channel right there. The Lalande Chronicles. Yeah.
But no, sincerely,
heard it here first.
Sincerely, Craig, I wish you the best on that. Dogs they're great animals, and we have too many, but many of them sleep in bed with us at night. So we love dogs. So I wish you the best there. But I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you very much. Again, just we're busy and good and busy, and just kind of keep on going. I really do kind of live that. I don't know I'm going to be here next month, but I want to be here next month, but I don't know for a fact that I will. So I got to get shit done today.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe that we've done 75 minutes and I haven't asked, and I love all your dogs, but Duke holds a special place in my heart. How is the Duker doing?
He had soft tissue sarcoma. Karen, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Soft tissue sarcoma, removed off his left front leg again for the third time. It's cancerous. Karen's sure that maybe it's moved somewhere else in him, but we've got to take it off we've had it reduced. Can't take it off. The way to cure it would be to amputate his leg. We're not going to do that to him.
Right.
But anyway, we just removed it for the third time. This one, it healed up very slow because he was very much into, kind of licking it daily. He's not going to wear the funnel, whatever you want to call the funnel around us. He's not going to wear that.
The cone of shame.
Yeah, the cone of shame. Yeah, he's doing good. I mean, he is what he is, and he's almost 11 years old. Where Karen was working, they brought him in at 2 years old to be put down. They whatever it is, signed him over to Karen and us, or Karen and myself, Karen specifically. And no, I mean, we have given his best life that he could have, I guess. Can't really see it, but I got some scars on my hand from him way back in the day. And I can show you a picture of the old pintail door. He destroyed the door. He hates UPS and FedEx and mailman still to the day. But now he's doing good. He's both his ACLs are blown out in his rear. That's why another reason we wouldn't amputate his front leg, because his back legs aren't good. And he's got his gunner kennel in the van. He goes and he doesn't train, but he gets out and walks around and seems to enjoy it. So,
I love that dog
just trying to keep trying to give him his best life until we can't. Quality of life is always. I agree with Karen, but she's always preached that with older dogs or dogs that have ailments and specifically cancers. It's about quality of life. We're not going to selfishly keep him drag his life out any longer than when he can't get when his quality of life is poor. So he's still in good shape.
I love that dog, and that dog loves you and Karen, and that's why he doesn't like the UPS and the mailman, because he loves you guys more than anything. And I can remember the first couple of days or the first couple of times walking past the cabin at Shaw's, and he was not a big fan of me, but once I got in and I was like, hey buddy, I'm cool, I'm good, he became my buddy down in PEI, and I really do. I think the world.
Well, thank you. I'll tell you, Karen, you asked about him. Speaking of Shaw's, I can tell you this: he does not like Bobby Jewell at Shaw's, and he may or may have not drawn some blood on Bobby Jewell.
Hey, well, that's the Duker. That's the way I'll end it. Jeff, buddy, I am so happy that you came on tonight. I'm so happy that when I reached out to you, and I know I don't talk to you very often anymore, and we're busy.
It's all good.
And we're all over the place, but when I reached out and I said, "Hey, you want to do a show?" Your reply was, "Tell me when."
Yeah, sure.
You don't know how much I appreciate it, buddy. You've been such a great friend to me and the brand and all the boys for so long. You don't know how much I appreciate it. And someday, I know I always say it, but someday I will get to Maryland and I will hunt with you and you can take a video of me and you can show my face and me missing.
I was gonna say we just won't show your face. That's all. miss all you want.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was episode 221 of the Union 0430 podcast. We're honestly a bunch of friends that just love getting together and chatting anything waterfowl hunting, and in Craig's instance, putting pressure on him to buy a dog. Big love. Can't wait to see y'all again next time. Thinking of you, we are.
Boom. Salute.